I think you're going to see this all come to head here in Iowa. And then Thursday, of course, it's going to be a big deal. And the DeSantis team would say, we just had polling come out that shows we closed the gap by 9 points since we announced in Iowa. Still, Trump's hugely ahead, but they say they're closing the gap. That's their argument.
Hugely.
Hugely. Look, if you look at the polling now, it was Trump 34 in Iowa. It's now Trump 25.
Still a big lead.
Double digits.
So my man's Donald Trump took to Truth Social and said the following.
Kayleigh McEnany just gave out the wrong poll numbers on Fox News. I am 34 points up on DeSanctimonious, not 25 up. While 25 is great, it's not 34. She knew the number was corrected upwards by the group that did the poll. The rhinos and globalists can have her. Fox News should only use real stars.
Because, you just can never be loyal enough to Donald Trump.
When you look at the former president in that environment, you and I were talking about how comfortable he looks. That's a small, intimate crowd, which is how you do Iowa.
He is very good at that. In fact, I don't know that there's anyone in the race that can do it quite like him in a room with voters. I mean, I was in Maine with him. I'll never forget him talking to fishermen. They thanked him multiple times, Trump voters who had tears in their eyes, who said, these 4 years have meant this to me, and got to express that gratitude.
And like I said, it's really not possible to be loyal enough to Donald Trump because despite the fact that he just went after Kayleigh McEnany, for showing a poll where he was up by 25 points instead of 34 points, despite the fact he's killing everybody in the Republican primary field, everybody, she still praised him. She still went on to say that she's never seen anybody do things quite like Donald Trump. She's still on his side. She's still on his team. She's still completely captured by the audience and by the wrath of Donald Trump. So, again, getting on this guy's team really is to no benefit. But unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, he still completely owns the Republican Party. And there's nothing that they can do about that, at least not in 2024.
You mentioned that interaction with that young girl. Where'd you get the scholarship from? Yale. Oh, wow. You're modest. I mean, he's very charming in those environments. And his most winning moments there, we're talking about his record with vets. We're talking about his right to try legislation, talking about how he filled up our oil reserves. So if he can stick to policy and have that charm, it's going to be hard to close that 30-point gap. Doable, but hard.
It's really hilarious to watch Republicans completely buckle under the pressure of Donald Trump because they completely forget that he was president in 2020 when the pandemic struck. That's why it's always so funny when they talk about the shutdowns. Like, Republican states shut down businesses. Republican states did what they had to do to keep people safe, to keep themselves free of liability from getting sued by potential customers who caught COVID. Donald Trump was in office when that happened. Donald Trump was the one who passed a huge tax cut. Donald Trump was the one who dismantled our preparation system so that we had one of the worst responses to COVID on earth in terms of developed nations. So, at the end of the day, Donald Trump, in my opinion at least, is incredibly easy to attack. Whether it be his long history of fraud, his long history of bankruptcies, ripping people off, failure after failure after failure. Him losing lawsuits, having to cough up millions of dollars for literally scamming people. But, hey, let's just sit back and get better progressives into the Democratic Party because at the end of the day, the Republican Party is having a very rough time, and especially going into 2024.